YouTubers, how's it going? Mike Martin's here on Mike Martin's channel. Thanks for joining me for another really special, non-pornographic edition of Rants and Lifestyle. And yes, I have a number to call. It is working. Yeah, it is working. So, whatever you got on your mind, if you want to call, we'll have open lines tonight. If anybody's awake watching this, I'm getting some audio issues here, trying to figure it out. I think the audio is working now. It's showing me it's working now. I was waiting for someone to give me some feedback and let me know what's going on. And if you want to join me tonight in conversation, it is 1250-800-1489. The phone number again is 1250-800-1489 if you want to get on the air here on the live show. There's also the live chat. You guys are more than welcome to discuss what is happening. Okay, sounds good. We're in business, people. We are in business. So sit back, enjoy, relax, drink a little bit of water, maybe a little bit of tea, dim the lights. We're going to have an interesting show tonight, and I'm asking for people to call in. The number again is 1250-800-1489. And anything that's on your mind or anything you want to talk about that's concerning you. I got a few people from California that want to call into the show that are telling me they're leaving in droves. People are leaving California in mass numbers. People are also leaving all the coastal cities on the Pacific side. A lot of people are leaving. I also want to discuss, important things that get rarely ever talked about, or what's on your mind. Sometimes it's good to talk. Like I said, guys, I'm going to be chill, super chill tonight. I'm not going to be all over the place like I usually am. Let me fix my... I'm going to be super chill tonight, guys. It's Sunday night. It is the 23rd of October, 2017. And if you're just tuning in, I want to thank everyone for tuning into this channel, watching my replays, watching things that I got going on. I did a little rearranging here in the office. Studio, whatever the hell you want to call it. And oh my god, somebody's calling. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? Hello? Nobody talking. I wonder if it's my phone.
It's me, Mike, your friend, Anthony.
Oh, what took you so long to answer the phone?
Go ahead, buddy, go live. It sounded good before you went offline. I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. So, what's going on, Anthony? What do you got? What do you want to add to the show today?
Oh, Mike, you're offline already, buddy. Go back online. Go live.
I am online right now. It's saying I am elapsed 2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Let me check, man, because I can swear it said offline, man.
Okay, well, I'm online right now, and everything seems to be okay here. On my streaming checklist is checked. So for all you people trying to stream live and stuff, it is a pain in the arse trying to set things up and get things going right. It is a bit of work to configure certain things, add certain things, remove certain things, and it was a learning curve for myself. For me, it was really hard because
I'll call back to show in a couple minutes just to make sure it's live. I'll call back. God bless.
Okay, God bless you. So that was Walking Journey that calls into the show he will be calling into the show very often. He's really good on relationship advice. He's really good on all kinds of stuff, all kinds of really interesting stuff that he's into. He also left Los Angeles. He was living in LA County or Broward County. I don't know where he was living. Broward County is in Florida. I'm sorry. He left LA County. He was living in somewhere in California. He left and to basically live the dream with his family and lay roots, just like I did. He left the big city to a small town. He moved to, I think it's southeast Texas, and I think he's enjoying himself there with his family. And he's got another kid on the way. He works hard, and he's a really good guy. He's a really good guy to have on the show. He's got a really good rational point of view. And, okay. I want to start with this story here. It's actually somewhat concerning, and it's not making any headline news whatsoever. I had to find this in some Economist Times newspaper. The only way I know that this story is what's happening here is through what's happening here is through the Portuguese news. I'm seeing this in the news in Portugal and in Angola. They're bringing this up. I don't see it in any Western news. There is a huge conflict right now on the border of China and India. It's a big deal. It's actually a very big deal. And no one is covering this, and no one is talking about this. And there's massive border disputes on the Chinese/India border. These are two very heavily nuclear superpowers. Okay? India's got a population of 1+ billion. China has a population of 1+ billion. 1.4, 1.7 billion China has. And there's problems at the border. There is major conflict at the border, and nobody is talking about this. And apparently there's reports of shots being fired. Apparently there's reports of a couple of people dead in the last 2 weeks. And this could spark a really massive armed conflict. And I want to know from you guys what you guys think about this, because this could be Armageddon. This is huge. So this is what's happening. Simla-India border. For the first time in 50 years in history, the ITB is raising and deploying a mechanized column of power vehicles, machines, speedily mobile troops along the Sino-Indian border in case of Chinese military transgression of the Dalkim-like standoffs. So, oh, there's somebody calling into the show, people. It's probably the walking journey. Hello. Hello.
Hello, is this Mike?
Oh my God, who is this?
This is me, the one and only Anthony. Walking Journey. Are you still live?
Yeah, I'm live, buddy. I'm live. How you doing? I was talking about you a few minutes back before you called into the show. I was talking about how you left. Were you living in LA County? Where were you living in Brownie County? Where were you living in California?
Yes, I was living in Los Angeles County in Southern California, in the city of Downey, California. So I had to leave that dump for greener pastures.
Okay, so you're living the dream like me.
Yes, sir. But you're doing it better than me, though, Mike.
I don't know if I'm doing it better than you, but I wouldn't say that because, Texas is a great place to live. I know Texas is an incredible state to live in. It's a very Lone Star state. It's somewhat, in a way, different from the rest of the United States. So what exactly drove you to leave California? What was pushing you out?
Well, I would say it's pretty much the same situation you were in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
The housing crisis is one of them. The other one is the culture setting, the atmosphere. What is the other one? The collapsing infrastructure, the collapsing economy. No future in sight, and I didn't want my future descendants growing up in the same situation I was in. It worked for some people, but it didn't work for me.
And what people, the people that have worked for, who are these people?
Excuse me?
The people in general that you say that it worked for them, who are these people that worked for? Like, who are these people?
Government workers, people that sprout roots before all this chaotic disorder took about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when California was great to live in other words. Or I don't know if there was ever a great time to live there, but I'm sure there was. Back in the days, those people already have their businesses,
Mm-hmm.
business all set up. They work for the government, they work for Hollywood, they work for Silicon Valley, they live in Orange County. You get the idea, right? But if you're somebody, if you're a little seed out there trying to, sprout some roots, forget it. You're going to be in for quite a ride.
Interesting. Very interesting perspective, because California, in my opinion, it was big in the 80s, in the early 80s. Just around the time when the whole AIDS scene broke out, cocaine hit the scene, nightclubs were going crazy, and everybody wanted to move to California for greener pastures, better life. the sky's the limit, you know what I'm saying? And in the 80s, California was definitely a destination place. A lot of people left New York in the late 70s up until the mid 80s to go to California. So when exactly did you move to California, and what year?
Well, I never really moved to California. I was forced to move there by my parents. They kicked me out. I was 14 years old, and I had to involuntarily migrate there on an airplane ticket, United Airlines, and to go live with my ass. I practically didn't have a choice, Mike.
Wow, I did not know that you basically flew into California alone. I did not know that.
So the thing is, it's really easy to move there or go there, but it's really, if you get busted, it's really easy to get stuck there. There's like some kind of bad demonic spirit there. People just get sucked into there, and it's like a black hole, man. You go in there, you can't get out, bud.
I heard it's just like if you remember the movie. It kind of, what you just told me reminds me of the movie The Lost Boys. When you feel that eerie feeling, that whole kind of people are disappearing type of thing, or it just, things don't feel right. And I could see parts of LA County feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? So
it was really frustrating, Mike, because you go look for a job and they prefer the illegal aliens over an American citizen job. And it has nothing to do with the pay rate. Because a lot of these illegal aliens are driving Mercedes, brand new cars, buying two-story homes, and well, I'm not going to get too much into that. The point is, you got to get out of there. You know, I saw the writing on the wall, and I left. I got my stuff. I got my family. Actually, I sold my furniture. I threw some of it away. I had a yard sale.
Okay.
I just left. I had to get out of there. It was really hard to get out of there, Mike. Even up to the very last few hours, it was really hard to get out of there.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm not lying to you.
I believe you. It's almost like you're caught in a web. So, why Texas? I don't know. See, a lot of people ask me the same question. Why did I move to Merritt? What was the point, right? So.
Well, what happened is, I need to talk to a girl named, well, actually, I don't want to name her name. Actually, what my wife doesn't want. I don't think she's going to watch it. I used to date a girl named Blanca in Ecuador.
Okay.
And I used to travel. I used to talk to her all the time. And I used to travel to go see her, I traveled like maybe twice to Ecuador to see her. So what happened one day was I bought an airplane ticket to go to Ecuador. I was going to go to Malacha. No.
Okay.
The point is, I was supposed to fly into Houston, but only to transfer airplanes.
Okay.
Because Houston is an international airport, and apparently most of the international flights, you have to get off of Houston and go to South America, right?
Yeah, Houston's a huge hub for South America. So is Miami.
Well, when I got to Houston, ticket lady told me, "Well, sir, I apologize, but your airplane got stuck in Newark, in New York."
Oh, right. Wow.
There's a big snowstorm. Like, what the heck, a snowstorm? But it's like hot outside, right? Even in LA, it was hot. So the lady goes, either you got a choice. We fly you back to LA, go home, or you can stay here, I think it was like 5 days. And we'll pay for your hotel, your food, your lodging, and everything. I said, okay, I'll stay here. That's fine with me. I don't want to go back to LA. I got no reason to be there anyway.
Okay.
From there's history, man. I got out of the airport. Originally, they gave me a room to stay at the Hilton. I think it was the Hilton. And to be honest with you, Mike, I like to explore, and I immediately left the airport. Man, I was shocked, Mike. Going down the freeway, everything looked brand new.
Yes,
clean.
the infrastructure in Houston and those areas are a lot newer. Just like if you go to some parts of Florida, the stuff looks a lot newer. So basically, you got out, you saw Houston, and you decided, I want to move here.
More precisely, I was still looking around, and I felt like I was in another country already. And I had never been to Texas in my whole life. And then when I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and I was 14, 13, I used to date this other girl. Her name was Sarah.
Wow, you had so many girls.
She always used to tell me about Texas. I used to hear it all the time. So then I used to have a world map at home, and I would look at this. I would look at the map, Texas. I would go to every single summer store. I remembered her when I got out of the airport, and everything was clean, brand new. My mom called me and said, "Oh, I stay in the area," so I went to go see my mom, and she had a really nice house. And she was only working as at the time at a fast food joint and security guard. That's what happened, Mike.
And that's it. So now you left LA County. The housing was getting expensive in California. Now, well, California, the housing is very expensive in California. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, because my sister-in-law lives on Alameda in Florida, Huntington Park. I don't know if you've ever been there, Mike. But they call it Little Mexico right there. It's in, on one side of Alameda is South Central LA. I don't know if you heard of that, South Central.
Oh, South Central. I've eaten tacos at a taco stand there a few times.
And one other side is Huntington Park. It's like one of the worst areas, I guess, in the country. So can you imagine, last time I was there in 2013, a house was rented for $500,000.
In 2013?
Sir, I don't know if it's in you.
Oh, that house is $1.6 million today, my friend.
Are you kidding?
Well, the average house right now is back from 2013 to it's good. I'm just letting you know as a friend that a lot of those houses went up 40-50%, and there's a huge mass exodus right now in California. California has this massive exodus. Nobody could have fathomed how bad it is in California. They're estimating anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people a day leaving the state of California, moving northeast and southeast. A lot of people are going to Georgia. A lot of people are going to South Carolina, North Carolina. There's quite a few people that have emailed me and told me, I have left California. I can't stay in California. So they're all migrating east. Quite a few people did Texas. You did Texas. And that's how it's working. That's how it's going down. You know what I'm saying? And what do you think? So now that you're living, and someone's asking me if I read the chat. Yes, I do read the chat. I got open lines today, so if you want to call into the show, someone's asking. The phone number is 1-250-800-1489 if you want to discuss something, whatever's on your mind. So there's somebody commenting here, Anthony, on the comment section, say, the investors are collecting on all the insurance policies from the fires. Meanwhile, people are homeless now in Cali.
I'm not surprised. That's the way the insurance companies work.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the same thing to the people down here.
Yeah. That's
Hurricane Harvey.
Hurricane Harvey. Yeah. You were in Hurricane Harvey, right?
Yes, I did. About 5 live streams. 5 live streams.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's... Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that live stream, actually. I actually followed you during that storm, and that was kind of scary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but God was good. And let me do a quick shout-out to Mike Hecker, because he's always, he makes interesting comments.
Yeah, Mike Hecker is not with us tonight. He's not in the comment section. I have no, you know what I'm saying? And,
Toronto, I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you something, Mike, though, before, I know you probably want me to get off the line or finish, because I've been hogging the line, right?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's what you call Magic. I also want to send a shout out to Magic Jack. I want to thank Magic Jack. I want to thank Magic Jack for actually, they sent me this in the mail.
God bless Magic Jack.
They just sent it to me. I don't know why. I went in the mail on Friday. I sent my stepson. I said, go get the mail. He said, okay, I'll go get the mail for you. I gave him the key. He went to go check the mail. He brought back this Magic Jack box. And then I got a letter with it and says, hey, I watch your show, and I know you want a live, phone. I know you want to do, I know you want people to call into your show and discuss and have an open line discussion. I said, sure, why not? And boom, somebody went ahead and sent me a letter, thanked me, and you know what I'm saying? I'm very surprised they sent it to my store, you know what I'm saying?
Mike, I want to first thank you, man, for letting me come on your show. Seriously, it's an honor.
Yeah, dude, it's not an honor. Relax. We're just shooting the breeze. We're talking. We're just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? And
I would encourage, if anybody's watching this for the first time, comment, rate, and subscribe to Mike Martin's channel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great channel.
So, now, you are Mexican, right? And you're Mexican. I talked to you in Mexican many times. You're my Spanish guy, right?
Well, actually, my mom's Mexican and my dad's Nicaraguense. So.
Okay, but I talk to you. We talk in Mexican all the time, right? I talk to you a lot over the phone when we're talking personally in Spanish, right?
Mike, your Spanish is actually really awesome, man. I wouldn't take it personal what people have to say. Overall, I have people leave me horrible comments, especially on my last live stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even care what the people have to say.
Oh,
they
no,
don't feed me or clothe me or give me money. So.
No, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you're a true Latino. You are by the book. You work hard. You do your thing. And who did you support in the last election? Who did you support in the last election?
I supported Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yes, and you're Latin, Mexican descent, Nicaragua descent, whatever. And you supported Donald Trump. A lot of people think that the entire Latino community went against Donald Trump, and I don't believe that.
I'm going to tell you something, Mike.
Yeah.
But the reason I supported Donald Trump 100% because I lived in California and I've seen the horrible effects of open borders and runaway illegal immigration where you set foreigners above the welfare of your own citizens. And it's just a disgrace, everything that's going on with this multiculturalism, this white, what they call it, white guilt and all this other crap. And people need to wake the heck up because if you don't wake up, you're going to lose your country, and then one day you're just going to hit you with a rude awakening, and it's going to be too late.
Wow. Anyways, Walking Journey, I recommend everyone to tune into your channel, The Walking Journey. He's another YouTuber, just like myself, Small Fries. We're Small Fries. We're nobody of importance. We're just here, just talking, shooting the breeze, talking about what's going on in, what's going on in general. And I got open lines, and I want to do some open lines once a week, have people call in and see what's going on and what people think or what's on their minds. And anyways, I'm going to let you go, and I want to thank you for calling in. And,
God bless you. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe to Mike Martin's channel.
Thanks, brother. Have a good night. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Anyways, that was Walking Journey. He's actually the guy who motivated me to basically get into the whole making YouTube channel. I remember watching his channel like 8 years ago, and I was like, holy crap, this guy's got some really good content on here. He's rational, he's upfront, he's serious, and people are commenting here on the comment section, and someone's asking me if my store has any good comics. Yes, lots of CGC comics, lots of stuff at the store. And yes, somebody's asking if I buy stocks. Of course I buy stocks. Money's made through huge markets, and that's where I believe money's being made. Anyways, I want to thank our syndicates that are picking up this show. I don't know who is picking up this show and rebroadcasting it in a podcast form. I want to thank them for that. Yeah, let's continue here. So I just bring up a few news streams here. People are talking about housing here. A lot of people are talking about housing in the comments section. And my friend Jasmine is basically tuned in right now. If she wants to call into the show, she's a good friend of mine. Really well educated in different avenues. And the number to call in again is 1-250-800-1489. The lines are open. And this is one section I was talking about here just before Anthony called in. There's a lot of stuff showing up at the border here at the Indian-China border. These are the main weapons that are showing up at the border. These mechanized infantries are showing up. Anti-skid ATVs. Border posts are coming up at the China-India border. And upgrading its firepower along the China border and China border roads. So this is somewhat of a concern, enhancing infrastructure along the border. The defense ministry there is basically throwing something together. This is a huge deal, but no one's talking about this. Like the housing market when it comes to proper media channels. Why is no one talking about this dispute where apparently several people have several casualties along the China-India border? That's a big deal. I think this is a huge deal because, like I said, you got A and B. You got two major nuclear superpowers duking it out or at their borders. China's claiming their border's 30 or 40 miles inwards more. And then India's claiming, no, the border was set there through maritime, whatever it was, way back days. So let's move on. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are watching what's happening in Catalonia. Oh. Catalonia wants independence. Catalonia wants out of Spain. They were basically unified. I think it was during the Franco era. Spain was still in pieces. Italy was still in pieces. Back during the Mussolini time, and a lot of countries in Europe were still in little bits, weren't fully unified, and basically this is huge. 400, and this is from today, October 21st, and some 450,000 pro-independence supporter rallied in the Catalan region capital Barcelona on Saturday, 21st of October, demanding freedom for influential pro-independent activist Jordi Sanchez. Both have been jailed in Madrid and are being investigated for alleged sedition, a charge which carries a maximum sentence of 15 years. Holy smokes. Catalan government has accused Madrid of taking political prisoners. I believe that 1 trillion%. And why is this happening in Spain? Well, if history serves right, a lot of these countries were forced together. And look at this. Look how many people are in this rally. It's huge. 450,000 people. I love when I'm watching the news from, let's say, central Spain, or, Catalonia is in southeast Spain, along the French border. What I like about this is when the newscasters, not in Barcelona, but in other major cities in Spain outside of Catalonia, they tell the people that, there are several 50, 60 protesters out on the street in Catalonia protesting independence. There's only about 50 people. Don't go out on the streets if you're in Catalonia, and people are being arrested for whatever, right? And then when people see these images, 50, 60 people, it's a joke. There's 500,000 people there? And that's why the media isn't being trusted anymore when it comes to giving us the big picture. And it's the media is supposed to be the watchdog. Come on, man, the watchdog. It's supposed to be out and about, taking care of people. But this is pretty bad. People want independence. This section basically brings in a lot of GDP into Catalonia. Catalonia brings in a lot of GDP into mainland Spain. They pay more taxes than the rest of the country. They got their own country, their own flag, their own language. All they want is independence. They want out. They want. They just want to be free from the Spanish, from Spain, from their monarchy, from their government, from what's happening. And a lot of people aren't really in tune to what's going on here, because this is going to give you an insight whether Catalonia is a good one to follow, because this will give you an insight whether or not democracy is real or fake. If democracy is real and 97% of the people voted for independence, then there should be some sort of referendum. There should be a separation. They should be allowed to. But if democracy is not real and it's fake, or it's just a name to make people feel more comfortable, then they don't give them independence. Then it kind of throws a curveball. Where do we stand when it comes to democracy? Let's move on. Yeah, this is another problem here in Canada. Canada, the United States. IMF warns against Canada's debt levels. There's a lot of people in debt right now. There's a lot of people that are really pushing it and putting themselves in a position where they can't afford to pay things back. And IMF is warning. It says the International Monetary Fund warns in a new report about Canada's high debt levels, higher than average pressure on Canadian households' ability to pay down the debt. This right here, this image right here of these credit cards, to me is an image of handcuffs. These are handcuffs to me. Watching this is handcuffs. There's no difference, like metaphorically, a credit card is handcuffs. I like saying that word. So don't mind me. So average pressure on Canadian households' ability to pay down debt. The IMF says its global financial stability report released Wednesday, and these dynamics in Canada's private non-financial sector leaves its economy more sensitive to tighter financial conditions and weaker economic activity. Why do you think all these big chain stores are closing? Why? These big chain stores are closing because the middle class is fading away. It's becoming a working poor society. If people are working 4 jobs to pay rent, or 3 jobs just to get by, or 70 hours a week just to cover rent for a 1-bedroom bachelor apartment on the wrong side of town, something ain't right, people. Woo! And sorry, I gotta wet my whistle there. Anyways, so the IMF also notes that in Australia, wow, I mean, who would have figured Australia with the housing prices there? China and Canada, where the ratio of household debt payments relative to disposable income is the highest. It has been coupled with a steep increase in house prices. It warns that the past experience shows that these 2 factors can create strain, and with sharp fall in asset prices can spill over to the economy. It will spill over into the economy. And this is what people need to avoid, or people need to avoid to go into debt. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember watching my show. If you want to tune in on Wednesdays, I got a show called Trends in the Housing Market. And I talk about housing and what's happening around the world, in the English-speaking world, with housing and how housing is affecting people from having kids, getting married, taking jobs in certain cities because they can't afford to live in those cities. Well, you know, the debt load is it's out of control. People are not finding proper measures in place to service this debt. And it's happening, and it's true. It's really happening. And you wouldn't think in a rich country like this that people would be so, what do they call it? There's a word for it my mom used to say to me. You are so irresponsible. Very irresponsible. You know, so we'll see what happens to this. This is, see, Brazil, I'm so surprised Brazil is up there. I can see Australia because the cost of living in Australia is beyond. I can see China, with people investing in housing and markets and investing in everywhere. I could see Korea, you know, but I just kind of surprised Brazil is there, where people are getting out of control with debt. Kind of surprised. Been to Brazil a few times. I'm just very surprised that Brazil is there. You know, a lot of people have old money. Parents leaving homes for kids, grandparents leaving homes for their grandkids, and paid off homes. Mortgages don't exist in major parts of Brazil. Kind of surprised how Brazil is in there. Anyways, let's move on. Americans have more debt than ever, and this is happening, people. This is happening. Americans are the same thing like Canadians, all in all these countries. They are falling into debt. Yeah, sure, it looks good when you look rich, but it feels like crap when you got to pay this stuff. You know what I'm saying? This article was put up in 12 hours ago, and this guy's Portuguese too. His name is Pedro da Costa. That's da Costa is a very, very, very popular Portuguese last name. You go to Angola, half the people, well, a quarter of the people are da Costa there. Pedro da Costa. Anyways, look at this. Why are people looking like they're doing well? In reality, their insides are being destroyed. I could be really frank with you. I would, you know, I've been pretty choked out about that. Someone's commenting, asking, so glad you're shining the light on this debt issue in Canada. Oh, I've been talking about debt issues and TDS and everything to fit for a long time. And then Mike Van saying, hey, Mike, have you heard of the new OSFI stress test rule? Yes, if you want, call into the show. We could talk about this. The phone number is 1-250-800-1489. If you want to call into the show, it's 1-250-800-1489. We have open lines tonight if you want to call in. Yes, if you watched my Trends in the Housing Market last Wednesday, 9 o'clock Tijuana time, if you tune in at that time, you will see me talking about housing crisis. And I did discuss the stress test in great... I went into it quite a bit. And a lot of it is being put on the consumer that's purchasing. A lot of the blame isn't going on the nasty underwriters, the nasty lenders that cheated and botched a lot of deals. A lot of TDS didn't fit. And you're not helping the customer when you're botching the TDS and the CGS. When the total debt service ratio doesn't fit, he can't afford to pay for it. Oh, he'll figure out a way to pay, yeah, on his credit cards. And that's when people start buying food on credit. And that's when that spiral starts to go out of control. People start spending more than they have to, and they say, oh, what the heck, might as well go all the way, right? Add on the debt. And if people, want, like I said, want to call in. I'm testing this new system out. And if you want to call in, it's the phone number is 1-250-800-1489. And if you're watching this on replay, well, too bad. So, Canadians, Americans, why are they falling into debt? Is because they see this, especially the homeowners, see this lottery. Oh my God, I have 140 grand in equity. I just won the lottery. Well, no, you didn't win the lottery. A lot of people in Australia riding off the coattails, in New Zealand riding off the coattails on their equity. There's some places in Australia, like in Melbourne and Sydney, where homes were going up $200 a day in value, $250 a day in value per day. So you could use your home as a personal ATM if you felt like you had to. And a lot of people did that. You know what I'm saying? You know? And then a lot of people, so Belinda's commenting and saying that basically we can't refinance anymore, we are maxed out. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening. TDS is not fitting. Equity in the home is gone. There's a lot of people that are now underwater if their property values dipped in the last couple of months, where I'm seeing in Auckland, New Zealand, and in Melbourne and Sydney, not Sydney, Melbourne, where you're seeing some of the prices dipping. You see Perth underwater. Perth is completely underwater. And what's happening? People are walking away. And this is the thing. This is what I've been talking about for the longest time. You can't walk away from your mortgage debt. It will haunt you. I've had people from Australia, Canada, except the U.S. The U.S. has some sort of a weird clause. And basically, they could walk away from their mortgage. They could drop the keys off to their bank and say, I can't pay for a house worth less than what I bought it for. Nobody wants to pay a house that's $1 million on a house, $1 million payment worth of a house that's only worth 300,000. Who's gonna do that? That's nuts. But yes, I just wanted to put that out there. I like to get it a little bit excited. I said I was gonna be a little bit of chillax tonight with the Ranson lifestyle, more laid back, having more people call in. You know, don't be shy. It's only me. If you've been watching me for a long time, then you know I'm an easygoing guy. So Joe's commenting here in the Toronto Star. There was an advertorial from a real estate lawyer who advises on the steps to back out of pre-sale condos. There are going to be a lot of people with buyer's remorse. Oh, for sure. For sure. But in the end, it is the people who make the decisions. Like, let's say this is your life, the length. This is the length of your life. That's right here. Whatever you do in this time in your life is up to you. No one tells you what to do, how to dictate your life, or what decisions to make in life. And within this little span of life that you have, well, long span, whatever you want to call it, it's your call. You can't blame others for mistakes you made. And that's why I was very careful when making my decisions in life. You know what I'm saying? I tried to make things as transparent, understandable, in a way where I could know I could sleep at night. That my kids don't have to worry. And that's the most important thing to me. And what woke me up was when my kids were born, I have to leave the big city. I need to lay roots somewhere. My kids need to go to a good school. I need less population. I need to shine more in a smaller population. I need to be heard more. There's too many needs, right? And I had to leave. And then I got what I wanted by leaving where I was living. You know what I'm saying? So, negative interest rates, no, it can't happen. They have to physically stimulate the economy, and they have to raise rates. Like I said, we are no longer producing, fabricating, exporting. You got to remember that Canada, United States were, during the industrial era, they were huge mass producing countries. They produced huge volumes of exports, enormous volumes of exports. And that's what grew and created this massive wealth in the country. And once the exports stopped, once they stopped manufacturing the cars, once they stopped manufacturing everything, sending all their work and all their business to overseas countries, you started seeing everything fall apart. Everything just fell apart. They have to stimulate the economy. The only way they could do it is there's a couple of things they could do. Canada, they could legalize pot and they could tax the crap out of it. They could also raise the interest rates on housing. They could raise the interest rates on student loans. They could raise the interest rates on personal debt. That will stimulate the economy, but it's going against pretty much majority of the people that took out debt they can't afford to pay back. So I'm just kind of talking, you know what I'm saying? And Americans have more debt than ever, and it's creating an economic trap. So like I said, economically, debt rises, can't pay it back, middle class disappears, big chain stores close down. All these big chain stores are closing down. Why? Middle class is gone. You know, middle class is disappearing. Without middle class, you got nothing. Who's gonna pay? Who's gonna pay for the rich if you got no middle class? Who's gonna pay for the rich? And who's gonna support the poor if you don't have a middle class? It's like robbing Peter to pay back Paul. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So someone's saying here, yeah, we need the United States needs production. The United States has minerals. The United States has vast amounts of oil still. A lot of people don't know that the United States is still one of the biggest oil producers in the world. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's still in the Middle East. Yeah, no, the United States produces a lot of oil. And a lot of people think it's always the Middle East. No, the United States. But because oil is in the pits right now, because a lot of things that going on right now, and you know, with that rumor that oil is going to go to $10 a barrel, I believe it. I don't know if you guys remember the video I made about a week ago. I was thinking of investing in the oil sector again because I'm thinking of a bounce. I'm thinking of investing in the oil sector because I'm smelling a war. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to profit off war. I don't want war. Who wants to go to war? But you know, if you smell a war, I mean, there's always profits to be made, and it's horrible. You know, horrible. But you know what I'm saying? Oil will rebound if there is some sort of a huge conflict. The demand will go up, the cost will go up, and I was smelling that, and I was thinking maybe, you know, a lot of good investors make educated decisions, and I think maybe I should invest a bit in the oil sector, maybe 2 or 3 companies. But then someone sent me an article. One of my subscribers sent me an article and said, no, don't invest in oil. No, oil's going to go down to $10 a barrel now with electric cars taking over. You know what I'm saying? And then Joe's commenting here. Sad thing is Canada's giving away our fresh water for almost free. Yeah. Running out of natural resources to export oils in the pits. Yeah. And I don't think Canada's running out of natural resources. Our lumber industry is big and is strong, and I think Canada has more trees now than it did 100 years ago. I know this sounds bizarre. I know. But I believe that Canada has more trees than it did 100 years ago. There was a scientific analogy that actually showed that that's what's happening for real. They're saying that there's more trees on Earth than there were 100 years ago, and you would think you would find that really hard to believe, but yeah, I think it's quite possible too. Thinking outside like that. Oil, yeah. So with the oil going down, Venezuela is starving. Angola is in the pits right now. Portuguese Africa, Angola. A lot of my friends that worked on a lot of the big rigs are home. And alternative energy, I mean, I see a tug and a pull. The only country that, okay, someone's commenting about alternative energy. The only country I know that's gone really well with alternative energy is Portugal. 5 days. Let's see if I find the article for you guys. Portugal runs straight on renewable energy for 5 days, beating Germany's 5 hours. So Portugal is doing the right thing right now when it comes to renewable energy and zero emission milestone. And Portugal's been doing really, really good things in the last 10 years. I'm very proud to be Portuguese. Very proud to see that the Portuguese have did this. The 5-day record. They've abolished all the coal plants, and they've also went super green. And one thing that Portugal did, I think that should stick out to a lot of other countries, and even Jesse Ventura himself commented on it, was that when Portugal legalized drugs, a lot of people thought it was going to be a haven of drug lords and a haven of just filth and scum and where deadbeats go to die. And no, Portugal legalized drugs, and then what they did was, when they taxed the drugs, the money and the revenue that was made, they opened dissuasion centers all over the country, telling people that using drugs is a sickness, not a crime. It's not a crime to use drugs, but it's a sickness. And in the dissuasion centers in Portugal, it's amazing how people turn their lives around because they don't want to be sick. No one wants to be sick. I don't want to be sick. You want to be sick? I don't want to be sick. But in Portugal, that's what happened. They started telling people that you are sick if you do drugs. And that is true. When you are so addicted to something, it's obviously taking over your life. And that's a sickness. And a lot of people got off drugs when Portugal legalized drugs. And that is a proven fact. There's documentaries on YouTube. Go ahead and look them up. It's really good how they... Oh, someone says decriminalized. Okay, so decriminalized. Okay, so you know what I mean. And the drug use went down. Huge. And the dissuasion centers were full of people at first, and now less and less people are going, and there's less I think there's one overdose last year in Portugal. One. And I think it's good to actually approach things as they are. This is a sickness, it's not a crime. This is that, that's that. So now, let me take one step back for you guys. I want to ask you guys something. I know in Nevada, parts of Arizona, they're making it illegal to harness and take in renewable energy. I heard it's illegal to be off-grid in Montana, a couple of states. I've read several articles on that, and it's going against the tide. So you get these bureaucrats, you get these entities that are there that always want to go against the tide, that always want to go against the right way of doing things. All our lives we're taught how the right way of doing things are. But then for some reason, once you leave high school, everyone's doing the opposite of what you were taught how to do things. Like purposely sabotaging, you know what I'm saying? So someone's saying off-grids, no profits. So, yeah. So what I was talking about earlier in the show, kind of wanted to throw this out there for you guys. Are people really leaving California over housing costs? So I had the Walking Journey earlier on in the show. He called in. Basically stated, oh yeah, I left California. Cost of living was too high. In California is one of the most highest populated states in the United States. It has a GDP as big as probably France. The GDP in California and its economy is just as big as any European country. And it is basically, from what I'm hearing, there's a mass exodus of people leaving California. And I don't know what they're doing there, because they're building bike lanes and they're getting rid of the freeways there now. And I had a lot of people message me to bring up stories about these damn bike lanes that they're building in California that's really upsetting a lot of people that have to commute long drives to get to work. And now what's happening? In August, this article's from a few days back. It says, a survey found that 3 out of 4 renters in Greater LA want to move. And last month, UC Berkeley Institute of Government Studies concluded that a majority of Californians have considered moving because the costs were just too high. In Oregon, transplants from the Golden State were welcomed over summer with "Go Back to California" graffiti sprayed on Toyota Prius. And then, but one number cruncher says, imagine all these people are moving from California into Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, and then someone goes on a Prius and writes, "Go back to California." Wow. What a way to protest, you know. Anyways, yeah. Someone's asking me, how is the crime rate in California? Well, the crime rate's going to be high, right? But per capita, it's low. Let's say there's what was it last time I checked? 22 million people living in California? 21 million? I'm not too sure exactly. But let's say there's 20 million for argument's sake. You will have more crime if you have more people. I mean, it goes hand in hand. I mean, Canada doesn't have as much crime because we got, 30 million people, 35 million people? And a majority of people have never seen a weapon in their lives or a gun in their lives unless it's on a police officer. So when you're going, with the amount of people living in California, you will have crime. It doesn't matter. You're going to have crime in the upper scale, lower scale, middle scale. Don't you guys ever watch those TV shows? Murdering wives, and they're living such glamorous lives, and they go and murder their husbands because they fell in love with the pool cleaner. Well, it happens in all sectors, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so Buddy just commented 39, holy smokes, 39 million people in California. Woo! 39 million people. That's huge. I did not know it was 39 million people. But, that's a lot of people living in one state. Like I said, they have an economy just like any other country, like a whole country in Europe. Like, Maybe it would be probably France, maybe France and Spain's economy together. I think California has. But a lot of people are leaving California. People leave California at lower rate than ever at any other states besides Michigan, he says. Citing U.S. Census Bureau of data, people say they're planning to leave, but they're not actually leaving. Just like Walking Journey was on my show at the beginning discussing his exodus from California. He said it was really hard for him to leave. It was a lot of problems, like just this eeriness, this darkness in California that it makes it hard for you to leave, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps bolstering his argument, he's reacted to Wallet Hub list of 2017 fastest growing cities in America, which ranks LA 31st among big metropolis. That's 31st is pretty low down the list. That's lukewarm results, but indicates that the growth in the region. In an email to Wallet Hub, spokeswoman called the showing above average. Analysis looked at 64 large cities. So a lot of people are leaving California. People complain about pricing of housing and say they're not going to leave, Martin says. Some do leave, but California is a huge state. If you look at loyalty to your own states, it's especially high among Latinos and Asians born in California. There's something holding people there. So, California does know how to party, that's for sure. But California, LA was, like I said, back in the 80s was the time you wanted to live in California, in the early 80s. From 80 to, like, let's say 87, it was the time to live in it. And, it was just the party scene, the well-to-dos. It was basically the place of places to be was California back in the day. And, yeah, this has been coming up left and right. Toys R Us looking like it's filed. It filed, I think, for Chapter 7 or Chapter 11. I couldn't remember which one it was. This was published today. And stressful year in 2018. Lots of retailers. And a lot of it has to do with overhead and the disappearing middle class. The middle class is disappearing in droves. And once the middle class disappears, there's no more disposable income. When you don't have disposable income, people don't go shopping at stores. I love going to department stores. I love going to the Bay, Sears, Eaton Center. I like going in those department stores, walking around. Hey, look at these fancy towels. Oh, wow, I need to get a tie. Wow, look at them shoes. You know, hey, let's look at some cologne. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, wow, they're having a gala. I love department stores. I love taking my time looking around, testing out, you know, those beds, those mattresses, testing out the mattresses, walking over, having a little snack, then testing out some of the furniture, opening some drawers here and there, then going up to the second level, checking out the menswear and the cologne, then going up to the 5th or 6th level, checking out the toys and the tools. I love department stores. I don't want to see department stores close down. Department stores are a big part of who, it's what made us into who we are today. You know what I'm saying? Picking up a little toaster oven, and then maybe picking up a nice set of handkerchiefs for to put in your pocket when you go to the gala. You know, things like that. I love department stores. I don't want to see them suffer. And what's happening is, I don't really think it's the whole online presence. I know online, makes a dent. But to be really frank with you, don't you want to go and touch things and look at things and smell things and taste things, you know, before you spend time ordering the stuff online? I don't know. The stress in all retail sector that has triggered a string of bankruptcies this year is unlikely to get much better in 2018. The sector is expected again produce the most defaults, up to $7 billion, resulting in a 10% default rate, Fitch Ratings said Thursday. The September trailing 12-month retailer default rate stood at 7.3% after Toys R Us Inc.'s bankruptcy filing. up from just 5% on July and August. The retail sector accounts for 30% of the defaults that have been taking place in 2017 to date, with 6 issuers defaulting on the debt totaling $5 billion. The retail sector has been hit by a combination of factors including competition from Amazon Inc. and a greater shift towards online shopping that has forced many to invest in technology at a time when sales are soft. Consumer behavior has changed as the millennial generation comes of age, and retailers are now competing for dollars with smartphone apps, electronics, as well as expenses such as travel and entertainment. Mall traffic has dwindled in many places, pressuring the anchor tenants that relied on them for sales. The overall institutional leveraged loan default rate is expected to end 2018 2.5%, said Fitch, equal to about $27 billion in debt. This is harsh, people. So this is a little video here that gives you, it says here, here's how to pick out retail companies that will survive the meltdown. So I guess people are hedging against these companies to see who's going to stay and go. But I'm troubled with this, you know. The list includes troubled department store chains such as Sears Holding Corp., 9 West Holding Inc., 99-cent only stores, NYDJ Apparel, LLC, and Vince LLC. So this is basically troublesome that we're losing, because when you start turning to online and apps and all that stuff, you're taken away from reality and giving yourself to electronics, or giving yourself to this platform that's not even real. Go to the mall, walk around, test some clothes out. Like I said, test out some of the mattresses. Have a good time. Go buy some ice cream in the food court. You know what I'm saying? Once we lose that, you know how much people will miss that? Because that's real. We're taking away the reality and then putting things, well, I could just get this online. Anyone could buy anything online. Stop showing off. Oh, I can buy this online. Get it sent to my door. Nobody cares. Go out, mingle, talk. What's happening? Populations are going up and you see less and less people out and about. That's concerning. I don't know how you people feel about that, but it's concerning. You know what I'm saying? See if anyone calls in. 1-250-800-1489. 1-250-800-1489. This Wednesday, if this system's working well, I'll use it for my rants and lifestyle. So if you guys, I'll use it for my Wednesday show, Trends in the Housing Market, which is a hit. A lot of people are enjoying Wednesday nights, staying up late, listening to Trends in the Housing Market, what's happening in the market, in the housing sector, why people are basically putting themselves in these precarious situations. And how are they going to pay it back? You know, how pay some of this back or even pay it down? You know, a country pays down its debt by raising taxes or increasing GDP or exporting more gold or fabricating more things. But a single human being that has to work 70 hours to cover his rent, that's really sad. I don't know if you guys remember the article I read for you guys from Portland, Oregon. You know, from Portland, Oregon. I don't know if you guys remember that article where this guy was working 70 hours a week just to cover rent. And the amount of homeless people in Edmonton, I think it was 20,000, or was it 2,000? I think it was 2,000 homeless people. You know, it's out of control. It's young millennials just out of college living in camps. Why is this happening? This is supposed to be a rich country. We're supposed to take care of our own. And it's you know, I'm very concerned that, you know, things like this happen and people, yeah, fall through the cracks. But when it's huge numbers, you know. So someone's commenting here. Malls in the Greater Toronto Area are dead compared to only a few years ago. And then Joe comments again saying, looking forward to Wednesday. I've seen more homes for sale in Oakville, and it looks like supply is going up. Well, I used to go to Oakville all the time. My dad had sisters and brothers that lived out there, and they had these really beautiful homes. Oakville, back in the mid-90s and early 80s when I used to go, there used to be just outside of the Greater Toronto Area, about 25 minutes from Toronto, there's a quaint little town called Oakville. And it runs along the lakeshore all the way up to Trafalgar and 9th Line. Winston Churchill Boulevard, if you know the area, what I'm talking about. And Oakville was just like rich man's heaven. I remember a lot of Portuguese moving out there from Toronto back in the mid-80s. Bought these gigantic homes and, you know, worked hard, paid them off. And it was a good time. You know, I had a lot of good times down in Oakville, Ontario. I can tell you that right now. Anyways, guys, no one's calling in. I'm getting tired. I've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. It's an hour and 10 minutes, sorry. And go back to the beginning of the show if you missed Walking Journey's call in. He called in, talked about how he left California to move to Texas. Same thing like I did. I left Vancouver to move to Merritt, BC. A lot of people are leaving the big cities. Mass exodus from London. Lots of it's going on all at the same time. And Wednesday, I'm going to put together a really good show for you guys. I want people to call in. Don't be shy. Don't worry. You know, no one's judging you. And I want to thank Magic Jack for sending me this for free to my store. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Someone's calling in. Someone's calling in. Hello. Hello.
Oh, Mike.
Oi.
You still live, buddy?
Wait, yeah, I'm still streaming, buddy. I'm gonna shut it down. Turn off the audio on your computer there.
Yeah, no, you were complaining nobody called in, so I thought I'd do a quick call in, man, and say.
Good. So now we're talking about the whole California thing, how everybody's leaving California right now, and it looks like it's actually a bigger problem than I thought. It's actually bursting at the seams. Where's everyone going? How many Californian people live in Texas where you are? Do you see a lot?
I really don't see that many, honestly.
Okay. I was wondering what happened.
No, you know what? Actually, there's a chick that just transferred to my job from San Diego.
From San Diego?
She said she was paying $1,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment.
In San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego.
Oh, for sure. You're paying $2,000 a month rent for a 1-bedroom in San Diego. 100%.
$1,600, and then she told me that she used to live in TJ.
Oh, Tijuana. Good old times in TJ, baby. Yeah, I've been to TJ a few times. It pays to speak Spanish, believe me. So, so you've been watching my show the whole time. I appreciate that. But there's lots going on, and I'm pretty choked on what's happening in the world today, and how many people just don't care anymore. I remember watching your video you did, how people just don't have respect for each other anymore, and people are just losing it. Do you think it's the technology that's destroying people? People buried in their technology?
Man, I think it's kind of worse here in Texas. I suspect they're putting in some really strong chemicals in the water because. Man, I seen people literally they look like zombies. I'm not lying to you. I seriously assumed they were just on their phone at the light turns green. Mm-hmm. And I've been wanting to get it on video, but I'm always busy.
Oh.
We're looking at their phone, but they're not even looking at it. They look like a fish, like a goldfish. They're just staring at the intersection at the light, and they don't even move.
Well, you know what? If you could do for us do us a favor, if you could do a walk around parts of Houston and different parts of the different cities there in Texas. Maybe do a walk around and show us give us a little bit of insight on what's going on there in parts of Texas. Maybe you could do some videos, just a few walk-arounds, you know what I'm saying, like you used to do back in California.
Man, the other day the guy was just staring straight like he was looking at a brick wall, and he wouldn't even. I beat at him so hard. He finally, I don't know, he woke out of his coma, man.
Yeah, you know what it is. A lot of people are drowning in debt, and a lot of people are trying to fathom ways out of the reality, or start going into these comatose ways of living and just ignore everything around them so they could get away from what's really happening. And it's sad. It's really sad that we're coming to this. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm tired, dude. I'm going to turn in tonight. I'm going to do my housing show on Wednesday. I'll have open lines, and we'll go from there. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank Magic Jack. I want to thank everybody who are sponsoring the show. And yeah, Walking Journey, thanks for the call again, buddy. I appreciate it. You keep us alive here. You know what I'm saying?
Have a good night, everybody. God bless.
God bless. Adios. And that was the Walking Journey again. Tune into his channel. Check it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And yes, I'll keep up the good work. And also, please don't forget to call in. Don't be shy. Just call in. Who cares? It's me. Talk. Thanks for watching, guys.